Yo, welcome back to another episode of Dub and Trey. Today, we're going to be talking about navigating unhealthy friendships and what that looks like. But before we get to that, I want to make an announcement. We want to make an announcement that our website is finally up and running.
Yeah.
Dubandtre.com, DUBANDTRE.com. Check out the website. You can follow us on all the major platforms from the website. You can get to all the episodes from the website. There's a review section at the bottom. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a review section, which we definitely want you to utilize. Please let us know how we're doing, either about the website, the podcast as a whole, or even just particular episodes. Also, at the top of the website, there's a little donations button that that we definitely appreciate any monetary support you guys want to give. We've actually already had a good amount of folks starting to support us, where we want to move towards a better platform to bring you guys better content, video wise, and kind of move towards away from audio only into doing more video podcasts. So any help we can get will be greatly appreciated. The last thing I want to say, on the web page, you can also leave us a voicemail. If you go to the right hand side of the web page, it's a little bar. You got 60 seconds to tell us anything you want to tell us, and we'll get it as soon as you hit that send button. So please leave us a review, send us a voicemail, and if you're feeling really generous, leave us a donation. Now, moving forward with today's episode, unhealthy friendships. We're going to talk about
Mhm.
what it looks like to be on one side or both sides of an unhealthy friendship. Either you are the unhealthy friend, or you may be friends with the person who is an unhealthy friend. So yeah, let's get started. I guess we can start off with maybe talking about what a healthy friendship looks like before we get to the bad side. Let's start on the good side, because that's always the easiest, right?
Right, right,
um,
exactly.
so for me, I guess a healthy friendship is um a friendship where you're mutually supporting each other, where there's a mutual support of what you both are doing, where you're heading in life, what direction you're going. Healthy friendships are trusting. You both trust each other in some capacity, about your personal life, your business, your family, your home. Like, there's a trust there that is absolutely different than a level of trust you have for other people. Healthy friendships are generous. You both are generous towards each other, whether that's money, time, attention. No matter what it is, healthy friendships have a certain level of generosity to them. And I also think healthy friendships have a good amount of cheerleading in them, where you're always
Mhm.
your friend's
They wanna see him
cheerleader.
win.
Right? You want to see them win. I'm not saying it's all you putting a person's name out in the world 24/7, how much you support them, but just you're happy to see them going, and you're willing to help them go in a direction that they want to go when it's a positive thing.
Right. I definitely think you keyed in on some real good elements when it comes to a healthy relationship. But one of the other things I think is very important, along with being seeing your other friends succeed,
Yeah.
is also seeing them develop and challenge one another. When you
Mm,
have a friendship that both sides of both people are allowing a development to take place, meaning they're allowing each other to grow,
that's right.
meaning that I don't have to stay in this same mind state today, 4 or 5 years from now,
Hmm.
and I may lose the friendship that I have because I'm changing, I'm growing,
That's right.
versus the other friend that may still be in the same mental mind state. So I think friendships should definitely have a a level of respect when it comes to development, mental
Right.
development,
Mm,
financial development, whatever type of growth that can happen in each and every person's life. A friend should promote that, whatever that looks
absolutely. And the one word I think about with that, Trey, is change. right?
Change.
Like we're constantly changing. Every day we change. Every
Right.
day we're changing. There was a quote that I remember saying that I always remember. It says, "The only thing constant is change. Nothing stays
That's
the
right.
same." So in friendships, both of you, three of you, however many of it is in this friendship, you're all going to change as you grow
That's
older, especially if you've been friends since you were younger. If you've been friends
right.
since you were kids, 10, 12, 14, 17, even early 20s, by the time you hit your 40s, you all have changed tremendously. In a healthy friendship, you recognize those changes in each other. And if they're good changes, you celebrate them and you allow people to change. Sometimes that change may distance you two, and that's okay. It doesn't make you any less of
Right.
good, of better friends. It just maybe you don't have time to spend with each other like you used to when you was 20. Right now you're
Right.
40,
Right.
50, and things change. So
Right.
having that respect and space for change, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
with that out the way, the healthy
Yeah.
friendships, um, let's jump into what the episode is about, really, is toxic and unhealthy friendships. Hopefully, by the end of this episode, we can help you, the listeners, realize or question whether or not you are in a toxic or unhealthy friendship and what role or side you may be in that friendship. Maybe you're the unhealthy part of the friendship, or maybe your friend is the unhealthy part of the friendship. So, me and Trey are hopefully going to give you guys some ideas on some ways of thinking about and recognizing some of these unhealthy traits that we're going to talk about.
And definitely to compound that, I think we're not coming off as experts or anything like that, but I think we all have experienced different aspects of friendship. So we're going to just tap into some of the things that we've experienced, some of the things that we've seen, whether we've experienced it ourselves, family members, people that are close to us. I think it's very helpful and something that everybody should reflect at and take a look at themselves first and try to
Mhm.
figure out, hey, is this something I need to work on within me? Because I think self-reflection is something that needs to come first before you start pointing the finger at everyone else. I think you should always start with yourself. If you can do things a little better, if you can be better for yourself first, and then for the people that are around you, the people that are your friends.
And the last part of this introduction is that we when people, when we're dealing with something or we're in something, we may not recognize the signs that we're in a questionable situation because maybe we've been in it so long that we don't even see the signs, and like they can be right in our face. There's a lot of people in relationships, in friendships, in jobs, in a lot of different environments where they've been in it so long that they don't even see the
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy and toxic environment that they're in. The signs are there, they just don't see them. So with that long introductory out of the way, um, do you want to go first?
So I'll start off with a few things that should let you know that you're in a toxic friendship. One of those things is expectations, possessiveness. Well, those are actually two things. So two of those things will be expectations and possessiveness. If it's a one-sided thing where you are consistently having this person expect you to do everything for them. I think that is something that you need to take a look at. You should definitely question whether or not this is a true friendship. And maybe this is a toxic friendship because you have these expectations, but when the shoe is on the other foot, this person isn't around. This person doesn't put in that same effort. And of course, you can't expect him to do absolutely anything. That's one thing. The other thing will be possessiveness. This person has so many expectations for you that they don't want you to be around anyone else because of the expectations.
Mm.
So if you're actually going out with another girlfriend or you're out with another guy, because believe it or not, guys have this possessiveness thing too. It's not just a woman thing. So you can have a guy who him and his friend are very tight, but then he may call his boy one day and say, "Oh man, I'm out with a couple other guys from work," and then his friend that he's known for years may feel some type of way about it, and he may treat him a certain way, or be very short with him, or not communicate in the way that they normally would communicate, because he feels that the only person that should have your time and attention and those expectations or benefits that I may get is me. So that's something that you should definitely take a look at when you're looking at whether or not you're in a toxic friendship, because these people always expect. And when I say expect or expectations, I'm not talking about you just helping them out from time to time because they may have some hard times, because we all do.
Right.
I'm talking about a certain level of expectation, a crutch, if you will, someone that is there to fix their problems for them and helps them not be responsible. That's the kind of expectations I'm talking about, meaning that this person can continuously be toxic and you are the one that is required to come and clean it up. You may have somebody who likes to drink a lot, and if this person calls you, it's your responsibility now to run to this person, pick this person up, and make sure that this person gets to where they need to be safely, consistently, every day and day in and day out, day in and day out. When does the self-reflection happen? When does the development happen where that person has to say, I need to get better myself and stop expecting my friend to pull me out the mud all day long? Because what's going to happen is one day that person's not going to be there for you. So what are you going to do? So that's one thing. That's one of the things I got there.
And I think on that scenario you just provided, the toxic part of that is the day or the time that you say, "Hey, man, I can't come get you. I need this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
don't call me anymore because
Mm-hmm.
you need to start taking some self responsibility and maybe not drinking as much and calling me to come get you." Then they tell you that you're not being a friend. They tell you that you're falling short on a friendship, right? That's the toxic part. And maybe we should have defined toxic, right? We're not
Right.
saying toxic in the means of a person that you argue with all the time, or a person that you have ill feelings towards all the time. We're talking about things that happen, subtle things that happen over time, that happen over and over and over again, that you may not realize the psychological play
Yeah, the mental state.
that
Yeah.
yeah that is doing to you.
Yeah.
The thing is doing to you in the background, trying to be this great friend, but really it's one-sided. You're being the friend, the other person is really not being a friend.
One of my favorite statements that I say to people, anybody who knows me, they know what I'm about to say. This statement is, you're not my friend, I'm your friend. So I'll say it again. You're not my friend, I'm your friend. So I want my people out there to really understand what that statement means. You need to understand which one are you. And as long as you understand that and have some transparency about it, you'll be better off. As long as you understand that you are the one that's the friend. Because if you're expecting this person who has this toxic mentality to act and conduct themselves as a friend, they're not. They're going to break your heart every time. They're going to let you down every time. And the reason why is because they're not your friend. You're their friend.
That's right.
When you have a one-sided friendship, that goes into this definition of a toxic friendship. A toxic friendship, to me, what is defined as, one of the things that can be defined as, is when one person is a friend and the other one is not. It's just that simple.
Yeah. And for plain English for you listeners, if you don't understand that, it's about being the giver and never the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You're always giving something and you're never receiving anything. Whether that's time, money, food, gas,
Anything.
whatever it is, right?
Anything.
Whatever resource
That's right.
that you can give, you'll always find yourself giving more than you're receiving. If you're in that situation, you are the friend. The other person is
That's
not
right.
your friend.
Exactly. And I tell you, you have to reflect. You have to self-reflect. If you have ladies, if you have a girlfriend and you always are the one that's fixing the problem, that's letting her borrow the money, that's letting her do all the things because you may love that companionship. See, a lot of times we cut our own throats because some people like to have people around.
Right.
But just because you like to have people around, that don't mean that they're healthy for you. So you got to make sure you self-reflect and you look at your situations and your friendships and say, is this really a healthy friendship for me? Another one I got, another element of a toxic friendship was lack of support. You know, sometimes you just need support. And when you have people who are not willing to support you, your friendship is definitely questioned, especially when you are same concept, same logic, when you are putting that same effort towards their goals and their dreams. You're
Right.
very supportive. You promote. You do whatever you need to do to be there for your friend.
Right.
But when it's the other way around, there's no one there. There's no one there for you. You have to do it on your own, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that's a element that you should be paying attention to. And a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest, and people, a lot of people come out and they want support, but this is the thing. It's very weird how people want support, but they don't support anybody.
They don't give it. Right.
And then when they don't get the support, they're pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at you like, where have you been the last 20 years? So now you got this thing and you want everybody to support you. And my whole thing with that is if somebody supports me, I'm going to be thankful. If it's just one person, I'm going to be thankful. But if you're not putting that same energy out into the universe, it's not going to come back.
I definitely agree with that. The support thing is kind of tricky for me because I'm definitely one that silently supports a lot of people that they may not know that I support them. The challenge with this era is people have a feeling that if you're not like out rah rah and being a super advocate of something, that you're not
Yeah,
supportive,
there you
right? You
go.
know what I
Yeah,
mean? Um,
yeah.
and honestly, that doesn't mean that they're hating. That doesn't mean that they want you to fail. They just might not give a shit about what you're doing, which is fine, right? It's fine.
I might not like the cookies that you selling.
Exactly.
Your girlfriend cookies that you selling.
Exactly. And there's not a problem with that, right? If I'm doing something that any of my friends don't like, don't support, that's fine because our friendship isn't based on them supporting something that I'm doing for me. If I'm out doing something as a business venture or something that I'm doing for me, I'm my own advocate. Now, what my friends should support is saying, hey, brother, I don't like those cookies that you're doing,
Right.
but I absolutely support your business and I absolutely support, you moving ahead and being successful in what you're trying to do. So if I can support your business without having to eat those cookies, I'm all
Yeah.
in. Now, if support means I got to eat the cookies, then I don't know what to tell you.
So that's the thing. That's the thing, Dub. You touched on something. And the reason why support is tricky is because people want to dictate how you support them.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And the person that's supporting is saying, no, I want to support you the way I want to support you. And that's when you talk about support, I completely agree with you on that. I completely agree that you have the right to support, let's say me, for example, the way you want to support me. I can say, Dub, I need $500. If you support this, I need $500. So you come back and you say, nah, I'm not going to do that. So then in my mind, I'm like, Dub not supporting me.
Right.
And folks, but we want you to understand that's not the definition of support. You cannot dictate to someone else how they are going to support you. Somebody just praying for your success, somebody just wanting you to win. Me explaining what my finances look like to you, I'm just not going to give you $500. But do I support you? I do.
That's right.
And I think the people on the other end that's making that judgment call, like I was talking about earlier, making that judgment call to say, hey, this person doesn't support me. No, they just don't support you in the way that you want them to support you. Who want to support should be able to support the way they feel they want to support, and should not have to make an excuse about it. A lot of times people get into these conversations about why this and why that and why this and why that. And you know, for me, when you were talking about that, my whole thing is like, I call you for this $500. I don't even say hi. I don't even say how you doing. I don't even say how your kids doing. How you doing, man? How you feeling? I don't even take you out on a date before I bleep 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 bleep, stab you in the back. I don't even fake like I care about anything you got going on. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. That's unacceptable.
That's right.
It's not respect. It's not love. It's not nothing. You should be consistently doing what you're supposed to do as a friend before you go out and make that call. Now, me, I'm the same way, Doug. I don't ask for support. I just do what I got to do. And anybody who supports me, I make sure that I reach out to each and every person and let them know, hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate the effort, because again, people don't have to do anything. People don't have to do nothing.
They don't.
You know? So, yeah, they don't. People
Absolutely.
don't have to do anything. So for a friend to expect a certain level of support, a certain level of requirements, whatever that means, you may be the toxic one.
If you equate not receiving the level of support that you want to that friend wanting to see you fail, you are the unhealthy, toxic friend. I might not just have $500.
That's right.
Right.
But then I tell our other friend, man, Dub ain't shit, man.
Right.
He ain't even want to give me $500, man. I can't believe that guy. He's something else, man.
All right. And then the other part of that is, which may lead us somewhere else, is unhealthy friends check your pockets. Because in this scenario that we're talking about with this $500,
there we go.
If someone asks me for some money, no matter the amount of money, and I say, nah, I'm not giving you this money. I'm not giving you $500. I don't have to tell you why. I'm not giving it to you. And if the next
and then
day,
I say, man, you got that big old Bentley outside of the house, man.
Exactly. if I leave out the next day and I go blow $2,000 at the store, at the shopping center, at the mall, and you look at that and you go, oh, look at this. He said he ain't had $500 to give me, but here he go out there buying this and that. He had it. He just ain't want to give it to me. The fact is, I didn't want to give it to you, and you should be fine with that.
Yeah, yeah. And if you out here watching other people's money and other people's what they got going on, you are 100% the toxic one. What else you got?
My list, one of the signs for me is a person that drains your energy. Just keep it plain and simple. If you feel like dealing with a person is energy draining, you are probably in an unhealthy friendship. And that could
Talk
be
about that.
And that could be anything. Like, I'm gonna paint the picture for you. You sitting down, doing whatever you're doing, you feeling okay. Your phone rings, you look at your phone, and it's your friend. And something in you goes, man, I really don't want to answer this phone. But you answer it anyway, because you're committed to being a friend. And you answer the phone and you talk to this friend. And when you're on the phone, that energy is still there. It's like, man, I'm talking and I'm listening, but I feel some kind of way with dealing with this person. And then when I get off the phone, I feel some sort of relief. Like, woo, I'm glad he or she is gone off the phone now. that's probably a sign that you're dealing with an unhealthy friendship. Now, what is causing that bad energy is it may be any of these things that we're going to talk about. And that's kind of something that Trey had already kind of spoke about, where you need to step back and think about some things that's going on. But just
Yeah.
simply, if a person is energy draining or brings you negative energy, even from a phone call, you need to evaluate your friendship with that person. Whether it's they're always calling you asking you for something, or they're always calling you because they're the victim of some situation that they don't put time into fixing, right? We all have that one. That one's on my list too. The friend who's always the victim of everything, but they never do anything to fix their situation. But they call you all the time to victim cry to you about how this is happening, that's happening. Can you believe this? And can you believe that? And then you ask
Victim
them
cry.
some, yeah, you
Yeah.
you you ask them some common sense questions about, well, what did you do? Well, what are
Yeah.
you going to do? And they have no response to that. That gets draining.
That's the energy draining
It
part when you
is.
have to go and you have to investigate the BS because you know this friend, you know that they're giving you a one-sided conversation or they're giving you just blatant lies because what they're calling for is they want to call and get confirmation that the BS that they're doing is justified.
Yeah.
And what happens in those situations when I'm in those situations is that I'll ask particular questions and I see that, okay, this is just a BS call. And you clearly aren't trying to better your situation because you are not doing the proper things that you need to do. But what I have to do is I have to catch myself because now I'm on the call trying to fix the world. And that's what the part that gets draining. I'm trying to make this person understand that they need to do A, B, C, D, and E. And in actuality, they're not calling for that. They're not calling for my advice. They're calling for me to confirm the BS that they got going on and say, you know what? You are the victim. You shouldn't have to go through that. You right. They're calling for the yes man.
To feel justified in their feelings and their thoughts.
You feel justified. There you
Yeah.
go. Like you said, Doug, that's a good point. It's
Yeah.
draining. And sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't, sometimes you just don't answer the call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And now that I've thought about it for these few minutes, I can give you guys some reasons why it's energy draining. One is you actually do care. You are a friend that actually
Putting that effort
cares,
in. Right.
right? That actually cares about helping your friends. And when they call you with issues or situations, you give them your thoughts and your heart to help them out of it, right? That becomes draining when that happens repeatedly. The other part is draining is if you don't care and you consistently pretend you do. That is energy draining because
Yeah.
now you put yourself in a situation where you're not even being honest with yourself or your friend about your
Right.
level of care. Now, I'm not saying that you would tell another person, "Hey, listen, man, I can appreciate you calling me for all these issues you having, but really, I don't care." Like, I don't think anyone's that cold hearted, right? I'm not that cold
Right.
hearted,
Me
but
neither.
it becomes draining when you actually don't care, but you have to be mindful of other people's feelings and and give them that space and that time to give them the words or whatever to at least show that or pretend like you care. That pretending
Yeah.
like you care part is energy draining.
Yeah. When you were saying that, I was thinking I would really like to get a woman's perspective and a man's perspective about that particular scenario.
Yeah.
How a woman handles her girlfriend versus how a man handles his partner.
Right.
I would like to see if I would like to figure out if it's similar, if it's the same. But again, I think we both will come to the conclusion that it's energy draining. But I think that men will draw the line at some point.
Hmm.
And I think a woman will probably be more sensitive to her girlfriend.
Yeah.
And ladies, please challenge me. You guys know how to reach us. Definitely challenge us if I'm not speaking correctly. But I think a woman is going to have more compassion, almost to a flaw. versus a man, you know.
Yeah.
But from a man's perspective, I definitely think that it's energy draining, like you said, Dub, on both ends. So now we're at this
Yeah.
point.
Right.
You realize that you're in an energy draining situation.
Mm-hmm.
This person has displayed all the things that we've already talked about. What do you do?
This particular situation, I think that once you've given someone advice over and over and over again, and it seems to be the same advice over and over and over again, there comes a point in time where you really do have to say, look, you keep calling me about this same thing, whether it's every 6 months, every 3 months, every week, whatever, no matter what it is, if it's the same type of situation all the time, you've given this person all the different outs of what they can do to help themselves, and that's still not helping, you really have to be honest with that person and say, hey, listen, I've given you all of the ways I would resolve your issue if I was in your shoes. You don't seem to be doing any of those because you have never called me and said, hey, I've tried to do XYZ and it didn't work because of whatever. You continuously call about being the victim of something. Again, back to that. You're calling about being the victim of something and you're not putting in any effort to fix it. So, my answer to that would be you really just would have to have a heart to heart conversation. The problem with that is you have to be prepared to lose a friend because when you have certain heart to heart conversations with people, it ends friendships, right? People can talk all day about, oh, nah, man, I want a friend that's going to keep it 100 with me all the time. Yeah, you say
But
that.
you really don't want that.
Yeah, you say that. But
Right.
can you really deal with someone giving you the hard cold truth about you when it's not a good thing?
Yeah.
That ends friendships. And people know that. Like we all have friends that have flaws that are off that we could say little things about, but we don't because we're like, no, I can't say that. I can't speak on that. I'm not going to speak on that because that's going to sever the friendship. If I go,
Yeah, it's gonna tarnish their
it's
ego.
going to tarnish everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably what I suggest with that is just have an honest conversation and be prepared to lose a friend. The next thing I got on my list about unhealthy friendships is friends that think they are exempt from your rules and your boundaries that you set. And I think men have that problem because we're boys, right? Because we're boys. You think that the rules that I have set that are my rules
Apply to everybody else and
they
not
don't
you.
apply to you because you think you get a pass because we're friends. Small example. Let's just say I'm the kind of guy that don't like men upstairs in my house where my wife sleeps.
Right.
Right? There's no reason for any man to be upstairs. I'm not talking about my father, obviously, or I'm talking about, people who don't come to my house all that often. If you
Right.
have no reason to be upstairs,
In the house or in the
you
house,
don't
period.
you don't need to be or not, right? And
You
that could
ain't
be
there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not coming to your house. I'm not coming to your house if you're not there.
right. And that's a boundary as well. Don't come in my house if I'm not home. Something simple as that. But if you have a friend who feels like they are above that boundary, to where if it's just as simple as I don't want another man in my house when I'm not home, and you've come home a few times and your girlfriend or your wife is there and your boy is sitting there watching TV, and you're like, bro, what are you doing here? Right? And he thinks that's cool. It's not. It's not cool. And it's simple, and that may sound petty to some people out there. But the point is that I have a boundary and I have a rule that I have set, and the boundary and the rule. And for you to think you are exempt from it is disrespectful and foolish of you. Because when I come at you about it, you're gonna be looking at me like I'm the bad friend. Like you don't understand that I've just been giving you passes this entire time that you've been stepping over my boundaries and breaking my
Fact.
rules that I've set. I've been just giving you passes about it. Small reminders. Hey man, I already told you don't come in my house when I'm not home with
Don't
my
let it
girl.
happen. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Stop doing that, bruh. Now the
Yeah.
day comes when you do it again and I snap on you. Now you're looking at me like, oh man, Dub is tripping. right? Nah, you the unhealthy friend.
You the unhealthy friend. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I've known you for more than 20 years, and you're not the same man. You're not the same person you were in ninth grade, in 10th grade. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You were different. You was a boy then. You a man now.
Absolutely.
And guess what? Your morals and your respect varies. But if I'm a true friend, I'm going to move and adjust whatever that looks like, whatever that temperature looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a good friend does. If you are not feeling a particular thing, guess what? I'm not feeling a particular thing either, because that's what friends do.
That's right.
And then that goes back to the respect thing. When you gave that example, it reminded me of a few situations and a few times where I had a particular friend who definitely didn't follow in the line of my rules of what I dictated as respect and disrespect. He thought it was specifically for the rest of the world, but not him.
Mm-hmm.
So, make the long story short, he ended up making a major mistake. And, I had to let him know that you dead to me, man. Let me say this to the world. If you have a friend who is out here trying to be secretive and do things behind your back and then come back and say, oh, well, I was just trying to help the situation. That's why I didn't say anything. Listen, folks, y'all are not stupid. Don't be stupid. That is the ultimate betrayal and sign of disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
So again, back to what Doug was saying, when you are in a situation where your friends don't respect your morals and values and don't respect whatever it is, whatever crazy scenario, it doesn't matter what it is.
Whatever rule or boundary you have.
Whatever it is, even if you disagree with it and think it's dumb, and it could be dumb, right? It could be stupid.
It could be.
But if you're a real friend, you say, okay, when I'm over your house, I won't eat the Fritos because you think it's disrespectful for me to eat the Fritos at 7:00. I only can eat them between 5 and 6:30. But after 7 is disrespectful in your house. I'm in your house. No Fritos get eaten after 7:00. It's dumb as hell. But you my friend.
You my friend and you're in my house, right?
Respect your friends, people. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Respect your friends.
Respect their rules.
Respect their wishes. Yeah. Respect their rules.
No matter how foolish or stupid as they may seem, it's okay to have rules about not eating Fritos at 7 p.m. It is fine to have the rules that you would like to have about your life and how you choose to live. Just be upfront and honest about them. Don't tell people that you don't care when really you care.
Dub, I'm going to tell you, man, even if you tell them, they're going to play like they forgot or that you never said it or I didn't know. They get amnesia. I've had these conversations. I've been in those situations. I've been told that, hey, this person, that person did this, and this is what happened, and this. Look, man, come on, man. My memory way better than yours, and I don't even have a good memory. So I know what it is. I know what's going on. So, okay. So what do you do when you have a situation like that? In the example that you brought up. So now it's like, okay, we're going to play that game if that's what you want to do. And please understand what we're talking about when we say friendships is deeper than just you and her or him and you.
That's right.
Because you got children involved. You may be married. You may have family involved. The families may have grown up together where the mothers are friends and the uncles and the dads. And right. This may be deeper than just saying, hey, this friendship is over, because there are other people involved and this is so deep. So I'm not, by no means am I saying, or are we saying that you can just cut all ties. I understand that there's going to be a level of clarity that you're going to have. But again, when we get back to this particular scenario, you have to be mindful of, okay, if that's how you want to handle this, sometimes it's better to put the mirror up than to walk away, because you may not be able to walk away.
Right.
So you may not be able to walk away because your kids may be best friends.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
There are ties there that are far deeper than just you two.
that's right. So what happens then is that you are now sacrificing for the greater good. So now, as the positive friend, you are now selfless, which is going to become draining.
Yeah.
I believe in karma, and those things do come back around. And when there's an opportunity for you to maybe say, "Oh no, I'm gonna be honorable, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn the other." Sometimes, hey, you might have to put the mirror up. I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to put the mirror up to show this is what you representing. You know, you're not my friend, clearly, but this is what it is. What happens is there's a drastic, dramatic change. Oh no, it's not like that. I didn't want this. No, it's not. No, I didn't mean it like that. You know, I care about you.
Right.
You my brother. You my best friend.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Stop it.
Yeah, man.
Stop it.
Another one I got. And again, I want to say to you all that these things that we're talking about, we're not talking about one-offs, right? We're not talking about something that's happened once or twice. We're talking about these things happening for years, consistently for years, right? These are consistent behaviors that have happened over a long period of time, not just something that happened once and it was a misunderstanding. These are things that are repetitive. This next one I got is, if you have a friend that consistently seems to like to use your successes for their own successes, they look at your success as a means of getting themselves ahead. And again, I'm talking about repetitive behaviors. Whenever you reach some level of success in some form or fashion, and that's just not about money. That could be anything, right? If we're talking about money, if you seem to be doing a little bit better for yourself financially, maybe that friend now is always around you a little bit more. Maybe if all of a sudden you moved out of your 1-bedroom apartment to a 3-bedroom townhouse, and now that friend is always over your house, whereas they never were before, right? Maybe all of a sudden, you got a new boyfriend, ladies, and all of a sudden your girlfriend is always around you because maybe he is a good guy and she's looking for a good guy. So she now hangs around a little bit more because maybe he has some friends she wants to meet, and vice versa. Maybe the dude, maybe he meets a nice young lady, and all of a sudden one of his friends now all of a sudden wants to hang around all the time because he's looking for the same kind of young lady or one of her friends or something like that. Just anything. If you are a person that seems to gravitate to your friends that you see have something that you can get something out of, and that's the only reason you're gravitating to them, then you probably are the unhealthy friend.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. That's a great analogy. I have nothing to say regarding that. That's a great one. I will add another one to the list. Friends that feel like they have to one up you when you do with that success.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very funny how things happen when it's your time. When it's your time as a friend, as a man, as a woman, it's your day, it's your moment, it's your year, it's your month, whatever it is, ladies and gentlemen. When it's your time, it's very funny how there's always a family member or a quote unquote friend who wants to put the spotlight on them and say, well, I have these things, or I have this, or I'm doing this and this. I'm not only doing what you're doing, but I'm doing what you're doing and then some. Be very mindful of these type of people. These type of people only exist because you exist. The key thing about this is you could have known this person for 50 years, And if you had, and every time you say something, every time you graduate, every time you start a company, every time it's your birthday, or you get married, or you have a child, or great achievements in your life, ladies and gentlemen, this person wants to make it about them. Something's going to happen at the same time you having these achievements in life. When you're dealing with somebody like that, you need to run. When I say run, try to your best. And if you can't run, then you need to address it. Let them know that you see what they're doing. Let them know that it's not about them. This is my moment. It's about me. I'm gonna focus on me, and I'm gonna celebrate me. And when it's time to celebrate you, I don't do that to you. I celebrate you.
That's right.
But be mindful of that. I see that a lot. I've experienced that a lot. The reason why that first thing is happening is because that person is comparing their success to you. So
That's
while
right.
you're having these great things in your life happen, they are actually saying, well, I'm successful too.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I have this, or why can't I have that? So let me be, for people out here who know me, for the folks out here who know me personally, you guys know I have two great, amazing, successful brothers. They are exceptional. And when I say exceptional, the word doesn't even fit them. They're beyond exceptional. So, and anybody who knows me, they're going to say, yes, I completely agree. Right. So then I had somebody ask me one day, how do you feel being that they're so successful? And I looked at them dumbfounded and I said, what makes you think I base my level of success based off the life that they live, and the lifestyle that they live, and the things that they've done? I don't base my success off of what my brothers achieved, because they have their own timetable. They have their own goals and achievements, and I have mine.
Right.
So people out there, if you don't get anything from this, understand that you need to stop comparing your success and whether or not you're successful or not to other people in the world, because they've had different experiences than you. Mm-hmm. So for you to even compare yourself, you're cutting your own throat. You're not even set your goals. If you achieve those goals, you're successful.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Like Dub Toy said earlier, stop counting those people's money. For those people who don't understand that you are toxic and you are the issue. You are the problem. Mm-hmm. And for those folks who don't understand that they have a person in their life that way, these are some of the signs. Let's say, for example, Dub called me and he having a big issue about whatever it is, and I'm listening to him, and my first response is, I'm going through something similar to. See?
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Here we go again. This is about you. This is about, I'm here to talk about you. I'm not trying to make this to me. Now, Don't get me wrong. If I'm bringing me in just to give an example, but the topic is still about you.
That's right.
Examples are great. Examples are good, because you want to let your friend know that you may be going through something similar. Yep. And you want to give him an example of what you did in that particular situation. Yep. So therefore he can say, oh, aha, okay, I got it. But this is not about you. Mm-hmm. Toxic friend. This is not about you.
That's right. Yeah, it's when you need to vent and you have a problem, they went up you with their problems, right? Right. You hit that out the park, because that happens, yeah, right? the other side of that one up is, just because someone does something doesn't mean you can do it. So
right. Fact.
If you say, hey, I think I'm gonna start writing a book, and your friend all of a sudden a week later goes, you know what, man, I was gonna write a book too. Okay. Or you say, man, I've been thinking about buying this new car. It's black and I like the wheels. I like the way it look. I think I'm gonna go get it. And then a week later, They go, yeah, I think I'm gonna get that car too, man. That's funny you said that because I was looking at the same car. Now, again, I'm not saying that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
right? That happens all the time.
Because you have the same style.
Right, when me and Trey
That's
talk,
different. Yeah.
he may say something, I may say something about maybe a alcohol brand that we just talked about tequila a couple days ago. That
Hmm.
happens all the time. He
Right.
sent me a picture of a tequila. I go, damn man, that's funny. I was looking at that same tequila. That
Right.
happens a lot.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
normal for that to happen. What I'm talking about is it happens all the time.
Yeah.
This person just always happens to be about to do what you are doing all the time. I was
Yeah.
just about to go buy them shoes. I was just oh, you know what? I was just about to go write a book. Like that person is competing with you. They might not even realize it, but that is a form of competition.
There you go.
And you don't want friends who feel like they need to compete with you on any level because that's not what friendships are based on. Now, don't get me wrong, a healthy level of competition is good for everybody.
Hmm.
It really is.
As long as it's healthy.
There's nothing wrong with healthy levels of competition. If the competition is me pushing you and you pushing me, and then we
Mhm.
enjoying our successes amongst ourselves about how far you got and how far I've got, and we strive to make each other better. I'm still sharp and still. If it's that
Mhm.
kind of competition, that is healthy competition. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
if it's always you present the idea and then that other person's always seem to just about to have that idea a week ago,
Mm.
there's something behind that. And I'm gonna give you guys a key to how you know it's something behind it. For the example I gave about the book, if I say on May 1st, I think I'm gonna write a book, and a friend goes, "Man, you know what? That's funny you say that because I was gonna write a book too." Then this December comes, and I'm almost done my book. And I tell my friend, man, you know what? I'm almost done my book. And they go, oh, for real? Dang, you know what? I was thinking about writing a book.
They
They
still
say
in
the
the
same
same.
thing in December that they
Yeah.
said in May. They
Yeah.
had no intentions on writing the book.
Yeah.
They just said it because it's something that you were going to do.
Right. Right. And I tell people all the time, stop comparing your life. If people would just stop comparing their life to other people, these things wouldn't happen. These people wouldn't be saying, these friends wouldn't be saying, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. It's almost like they're conscious, they can't help themselves. Their conscious won't allow them to even just accept that they're not in that space of growth, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and it baffles me because, has a person who thinks, and I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to be better, I'm trying to develop, I'm trying to self-reflect, I'm trying to do all these things. And as I'm doing these things, I come across people who are still in the same mindset, you know, that they were in 15 years ago.
yeah,
And you hear those same things. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna
yeah,
do this, I'm gonna do
yeah.
that, you know. Yeah, it's a you need to be mindful of
And I
it.
can't rock with that, man. If you in the same place you was 15 years ago, I mean, it may sound selfish for me to say I can't help you, but I'm gonna say
Yeah,
it. Like
yeah.
I don't have the time and the
Hmm.
energy to give you what I have earned, right? What I have earned over 15 years. I don't have the time and the energy to just give that to you because I can't teach it to you. You want me to give it to you. You're not asking for me. You're not asking to say, "Hey, can you teach me how to get where you are over
There
the
you
last 15 years?" You don't want me to teach you. You
go.
want me to take you by your hand and bring you there
I want to
without
stand
you
right beside you.
yeah, without you having any knowledge of what it took to get there.
And any work ethic, any knowledge, any sacrifice, any pain, any failures, any
Nothing.
tears.
Nope. They don't
Come
want
on,
nothing.
man. I'm talking about tears, heartache, pain,
Mhm.
you know. You want to know where I am and how I got it when I wasn't around? That's what I was doing.
Sure.
I
We
was
can talk about that.
sacrificing,
Right. And
and
we
we
can
can
talk
really
about that.
talk about
Right. We can have
it.
that
Yeah,
conversation. Say, hey, let me
right.
tell you what I was doing
Yeah,
the
because we
last
both
15
experienced it.
years. Right.
We both experienced that.
Yeah.
Living our lives, sacrificing.
So if I when and if I meet those kinds of people, I can't help you.
Yeah,
Like really, there's no energy I'm going to put in you to help you be where I am because I don't have the time. I have
yeah.
3 kids that deserve that time. You don't,
That's it. There you
because
go.
we went to the same high school, we graduated the same year, we had the same opportunities. Some of us went to the same colleges. Whatever it
Facts.
is, I don't have
Facts.
the time to hold your hand. Them days are over.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
grown men. I don't have the time. So
Hey
yeah.
man, I couldn't have said that. I couldn't have said that any better. As a community, we have to be better. We have to be able to hold each other accountable. So friends out there, girlfriends to girlfriends, all my dogs out here, my brothers to brothers. If you know us, you know we good people and we got good characteristics. Hold these people accountable. That's the only way our community can be better and be more successful for our children. You got to hold these people accountable, because if you don't, it's going to continue. So hold them accountable. That's my last little piece
Yeah.
of recognizing a toxic friendship, because this what happens. You think your son is not watching that friendship. You
Mm-hmm.
think your daughter's not watching that friendship, and then she grows up to want to be liked and and will sacrifice her integrity just so she can be liked, or the young man is sacrificing his integrity just so he can be liked. There's a culture that's created from these things, and you have to make sure that you're raising your children the correct way, and uh, talking to them about toxic friendships is a great start,
Yeah, it
because
is.
it starts early.
Yeah.
And at that age, they don't really understand what it is. But as they grow up, when you get out of high school, you start realizing, damn, this person's still talking crazy like they did in high school. They're not even developing. They're not even growing.
Right.
And for me, that's the big sign.
Yeah.
If you're still talking the same way that you were talking 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it is, that's a sign to me that this could be a toxic situation, because this person doesn't want to grow. They don't want to learn. They just want to make excuses. They play in the victim game, and they do a lot of comparisons, and they do a lot of competitive responses to your success.
Yeah.
Everything is, oh, I'm doing this too. Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing that too. Man, I'm going to do this too. Or I'm going to do that too. And like I said, real healthy things you'll see in action in the long run that is healthy, because you see your friends really want you to win. They
Mm-hmm.
may even call you and say, you know what? I don't have a lot of money or a lot of time, but I really want to ask you, what can I do? What can I do to help?
Yeah.
If your friend is not calling you, asking you what can they do to help, that's because they ain't thinking about you. And guess what? That's fine. To the go-getters out there, to the hustlers out there, to the people who's grinding, it really doesn't matter if people call them for help. But for those people who do have friends in their lane who say, "Hey man, whatever I can do to help, I'm here for you. I love what you're doing." Just some words of encouragement means so much.
I got 2 more things on my list, but I'm gonna go back to something that I want to add to something you just brought up about children and helping your children recognize unhealthy or toxic relationships. I think the 2 things that came to mind when you talked about children are, one, the boundaries and the rules, especially in teenagers. I'm thinking about in the teenage years, friendships cross a whole lot of boundaries and rules. I remember, when we was in high school at some point, maybe middle school or whatever, it was this thing. People had this thing where they'd run behind you and smack the back of your neck real hard, right? For some reason, people thought that was real funny.
I remember that.
that right, they come behind you, smack the back of your neck or the back of your head. I didn't like that.
I ain't like this shit either.
Right, I didn't like it. I made it real clear, like, hey, you smack me in the back of the neck, like we gonna have some problems.
You fight.
You know what I'm saying? And I've always said this to everyone. And like Trey has said, if you know me, you've heard me say this. I fight my friends first because you know my boundaries. A
That's right.
person I don't know who don't know me, I might get them a pass because they don't know me. They don't know my rules and my boundaries in the way I move, in the way I live my life. But if you're my friend, you know exactly what I like and what I don't like. You know exactly the things that push my buttons and the ones that don't. So if you push my buttons, yeah, you gonna catch it because you know, right?
Facts.
So for teenagers, I think helping them understand that it's okay to set boundaries. And the second thing I think about teaching your teenagers about unhealthy friendships is if they're around a friend that makes fun of them all the time.
Mm.
If you have a young man or a young lady in their teenage or young adult or whatever years, and they're around friends and that always makes them the butt of the joke or the ridicule of the group, or they're always the ones being laughed at, they may have some unhealthy friends. And I think that's definitely the two things that came to my mind about helping your children recognize when they're in unhealthy friendships with people.
And you know what? To add to that, I would also say influence. When you have some of these friends at those teenage, they want to influence their other friend into this toxic world. Peer pressure. It's called peer pressure, and even it can even get into bullying, right? But not in a physical abusive way. But that mental peer pressure is a form of bullying because when you have someone trying to say, well, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that, and you really are still developing on who you are, you may fall prey to that, you know.
Yeah, man. The last two I got for this is if you have friends where you see they support you heavily in your bad moments and not as equally when you're winning. Now, and that one's really hard to recognize, right? Because as human beings, we want people to be around the most when we're going through hard times, right? But what I'm saying is, again, I'll just give an example. You get fired from your
Mm-hmm.
job and you tell your friend, man, I just got fired. And they there. Oh, it's cool. They supporting you 100%. They there, they cheering you up. It's all right, everything's cool. Great. Thank you for being a great friend and help me through that tough time. Reverse side, you get promoted. I just got promoted and I'm making twice as much money as I was making. Do they
Mm-hmm.
give you that same energy?
Mm.
Is that same energy the same for your failures as it is for your successes?
Is the same energy the same as it is for your failures
As
as
it
it
is for your
is for your
successes,
successes?
right?
Ooh,
And again, that's
I like
hard.
that.
That's hard to see.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes when we succeed, we're so amped up that we don't really pay attention to people who celebrating us winning because we kind of already we feeling good. But pay attention to that. Just think about that. Do you have someone in your life that in all your down moments they always there, being that friend, thick and thin they there? But then in your successes, when you're in a good relationship, when you're in a healthy relationship, is your girlfriend there? Or is she only there when you messing with the dumb guy? She's supporting you then, right? But when you meet the good dude, she disappear.
So let me talk about that. So does that mean that this person is one? So be mindful of the friend who wants to be the saving grace, because that person is always there when you failing to help you out, so they can say, "I helped you."
Yeah. I guess back to that competing thing. It's easier for
Okay.
me to celebrate you coming back down to my level than me celebrating you doing better than me.
Okay, so let me counter that. So when you were saying that, what I was thinking about, because I actually know someone like that, where they thrive off of being the one to help you, so they can brag about
helping you.
helping you.
Yeah, I can see that.
But when you are winning and you're doing great things, that doesn't benefit me. And there are people who, and it sounds weird, right? It sounds kind of funny, but you have to be mindful of that too. You have to be mindful of people who want to see you down so they can lift you up, because then guess what you're going to do then? You're going to kind of worship that person.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to kind of put that person on a pedestal. You're going to talk about how this person helped you out so greatly. They're going to talk about how they helped you out so greatly. But then when the tables turn, they're not in that corner anymore, because they don't feel like they have a one up when it comes to that value.
Yeah.
And by all means, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to chime in. Psychologically, I think this is a big one psychologically, this example that I'm giving, because this person, thrives off of helping people,
right?
Because they're at this level and they're looking down and they say, I'm helping people, right?
Yeah.
I'm helping people. But they can't celebrate. They can't celebrate you when you on their level.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't work that way.
Yep.
Exactly.
What it's like is it's like a doctor that doesn't want to heal their patients.
Exactly.
Because they won't be needed anymore.
Exactly.
It's like I want to keep you at a level to where you still need me, but I don't want to cure. I don't want to cure you completely.
That's the best analogy right there.
You know what I'm saying? I got to keep you coming back so I can keep helping you.
Yeah, I want you to keep praising me.
I want you to keep praising me for my help. I don't want to cure you, because then you won't need me anymore.
That's right. I don't. We're not on the same level. I want to keep you at the level that you're at.
Yeah.
And I'll keep helping you, and I'll be there for you through thick and thin.
Yeah.
But soon as you get the same status as I get, you can get the same credit, you can get the same house, you got the same type of man, you got the same type of woman, you got the same type of car.
All that energy gone.
He or she they disappear.
Yeah. All that, as I said, all that energy is gone. Yep, it's gone. All of it's gone. Yeah, man.
I've
like
never
I said,
experienced that, but I've
it's
seen
hard. It's hard to see. Like I said, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
But it's something you people, all the listeners out there, just pay attention to that.
And give us some examples.
Yeah, please. The last one I got, and this is the only one I got left for this episode at least, is if you have a friend that you feel like you can't tell your successes to. If you have a friend that you can't share, you feel weird about sharing good news with, you probably got an unhealthy friend in your life.
Yeah.
Right? For whatever reason, you have your reservations about sharing good news with this particular friend, whether it's something you've done or something you're going to do. If you have reservations of sharing it with this particular friend, that person is probably not a good friend, because there's a reason why you don't tell them things like that. I don't know all the reasons, right? I'm pretty sure we can talk for another 45 minutes to an hour about all those kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you can't share your successes with a particular friend, is a problem.
I mean, and I think it's just simple. The main reasons is they're going to downplay it, they're going to use it, they're going to blank on your parade somehow, some way, and even steal your ideas, steal your maybe this may be something that hadn't gone public.
Yeah.
And guess what? Like I said before, I believe in karma. I believe in integrity. I believe in things that are organic. So, people out there understand that if you got something going on and it's from your heart and from your soul, Can't nobody take that from you.
Yeah.
So let them do what they do. It doesn't even matter. Let them do what they do because it won't come from their heart. It won't come from their soul. Anything that somebody's doing that they're only doing it to one up you or be competitive with you or make themselves look good, it will never last. It will never last. Because eventually they're going to wake up and say, "Man, what am I doing? This is work. This is not what I love. This is not what I'm passionate about." So when people follow into those areas where they do things because it's the cool thing to do, or they do things because their friends are doing them, when they do things because this and that and the other, that's not what you want to do. You want to be passionate about whatever it is you're doing. And if people emulate it, they can emulate it. If they want to duplicate it, let them duplicate it. It doesn't matter. It won't last because it's not organic and it's not from their heart. So it won't last, So
And I lied. I got one more. I'll make a comment first. If you find that you have friends or people who are doing things just because you're doing them, be a positive light to them.
of
Support
course,
them. Support everything that they're doing, even if they're only doing it because you're doing it. Support what they got going on. If you
I
open
agree.
up a club and your friend opened up the club just because you did, support the club, right?
Right.
Be
Even though
be
he or she
oh,
not gonna come to your
yeah,
club.
it's fine. Support the club. Keep your energy positive
There
and in
you
the
go.
right space. Do things for the right reasons. When you do things for the wrong reasons, bad things happen,
Bad things happen.
right? The-
Stay
yeah,
organic and true to you.
that's right. The last thing I got, unhealthy friend, is if their ideas to help you comes attached to them being a part of it, right?
Mm,
If you trying to build something and you're trying to do something and your friend has an idea that could help you, but they can't give you the idea to help you unless they are also attached to the venture or the thing that you got going on, that's not a good friend,
that's funny you say that
right?
because
Because
2 days ago, look, I ain't mean to interrupt you though, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
2 days ago, I gave an idea to a friend and he wanted to include me in the venture. I said, no, that's you.
yeah,
This is your, I'm giving you this. I'm giving you this little bit of nugget, jot it down, take it. I said, I don't need to be a part of that. You're telling me what you want to do. I'm giving you my little 2 cents. If you think it could be something more or you can take it and run with it, do that.
that's right.
I don't need to be a part of my input because I'm your true friend. I don't need to reap the benefits of these things. Like I think I heard Yeezy say something in Kanye West say something about Beanie Siegel because he created the name Yeezy. He
Yeah, he
said
did.
he felt
Yeah,
like he felt like he owed him some money for that.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and I mean, like I said, out of his heart, if he wants to do that, that's fine. But
Right.
if you are a true friend, if you're a true friend, then it's not something that's needed. It's not,
I
I,
agree.
I said those things and I gave you that name because that's in my spirit. And then it's funny because I presented a name for a
Hmm.
company. And
Yeah.
I said, this is something I think would benefit you based on this particular thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man, I think we need to partner up on that. And I know you want to be partnered. No, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah.
and that's kind of how it's supposed to be. Now, on the flip side of that, don't abuse if you find that you have your friend calling you for ideas all the time. Now you're being abused.
Fine line.
It's a two-way street. You
Yeah.
can give ideas without having to be attached, but at the same
Yeah.
time, don't make another person rich when you feel like you've put so much into it that you should be attached to it.
Right. Right.
Because
It's
I think
different if you building a company with your friend and they screwing you and they're
yeah,
not giving you anything
yeah.
rather than a one-time conversation and then years later, the person takes note to that and then they become very successful. That's a
Mhm.
different story compared to, me building the company with you
That is. It
and
is.
and putting in the effort, and you saying, "Hey, no, this is all me." So it's a fine line. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
definitely a fine line, and you
Yeah.
got to know who you're dealing with.
You do.
You know.
And that's why those type of things don't succeed. Because what a person does is, if you're building something for you based off of my ideas, you don't know how to proceed with it because it wasn't your idea.
It's only gonna go so far.
It's only gonna go so far because you haven't thought about the rest of you haven't thought about the future of it because it wasn't your idea, it was mine. So I can give you my idea of how to start XYZ, whatever it is you want to start. Here's what you should do.
And for me, it's simply about sparking your passion. Once I spark your passion, then it's on you to take it and run with it and be passionate about those steps after. Because if I take it and run with it, it's going to be a whole different thing. So yeah, definitely don't put your passion shouldn't be involved in it. If you're giving somebody an idea as a friend
Or advice, right? Ideas,
or
advice.
advice, true friends don't need to be accountable for that. They don't need to be
Yeah, owed. I don't owe you anything.
exactly,
That
exactly.
a lot of people can play that I owe you game because hey man, I gave you that idea, and now it took off, and now you owe me something for it. Like, nah, I don't owe you anything for it.
My brothers have done a lot for me. My brothers have done a lot for me and my
Yeah.
children on an unexplainable level, and not one time have they said, "You owe me this,"
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or
or,
acted like it.
or even acted like it.
Yeah, because sometimes people don't say it; they just act that way. You
Yeah,
know.
facts,
Yeah.
facts.
Um.
For those folks out there who are experiencing that, show your appreciation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, man. But that's all I got for this episode, man. You got anything else last minute you want to add to this unhealthy friendship list?
Just be mindful of your environment. Be mindful of the people and the energy that are around you. We have these topics because we want people to learn. We want people to understand that we're human and we're going through the same things, and we want to figure out a way to have some resolve. That's the purpose of this podcast, and getting a better understanding so we can have a better community, man. So ultimately, be mindful of who you have around you. Hold people accountable. It's really simple, but at the same time, it's really hard.
And
So
protect your energy. Protect your energy, protect your sanity, protect your happiness. You don't owe people to not be happy. You don't owe people anything. If you are not happy, don't deal with it. Period.
period.
And we out.